Welcome to Seasons of You, a podcast about seasons of change and our ever-evolving cyclical nature as women. I'm your host, Sarah, and I'll be sharing my experience of harnessing the power of the cycles as a guide for my life. And I'll be speaking to incredible guests where we'll explore struggles, growth, and expansion, and what inspires us to create and live a life that we truly desire. Get cozy and honor this moment for yourself as we dive in to the seasons of you. I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which I live and travel. I give thanks to the Indigenous Australians who have an enduring and deep relationship to the land, skies, and waters of this country. I recognise that sovereignty was never ceded, and I pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. I also give thanks to my maternal lineage, to all the women who came before me, and to all those who came before you. This Through Her Eyes episode of Seasons of You is with the inspirational GENA. She is the creator of Embodied Mantras and founder of GENA GEORGIA. She's an entrepreneur, Reiki Master, and neurospicy mum of 4. She has her podcast, The Recovery Room, as well. GENA shares so much of her lived experience in this episode and over on her social media pages, and what she's doing in the world is so important. So please go to the show notes and give her a follow on her socials. Her message has been refined even more since we recorded this conversation, and she is on fire. Also, her t-shirts are amazing. I have the one that is written backwards when you look at it, so that when I look in the mirror, I see the mantra, I am good enough exactly as I am, and it is my favorite thing to wear. In this episode, GENA shares about her experience with burnout and choosing a different way for herself, breaking the cycles and surviving in a world that wasn't built for you and coming home to yourself. She speaks to the importance of finding your calm in the chaos of life, and how to do that when life is really busy and when things feel really big. There are similar threads from the last guest episode with Liana around the discomfort of being with ourselves and feeling uncomfortable with slowing down. And so GENA also shares some really simple ways that you can ground and feel safe in your body. This episode has given me so much gold in entrepreneurship and building a business without the pressure of all the metrics and fast growth, and a reminder that organic, real, and meaningful connections are worth the slower pace of building a heart-led business. A little request, if I may, please click on the rate or review button and leave a 5-star review for the podcast. This is just going to help boost it a little and get this into the ears of more women, because this conversation has been so inspiring for me and has reminded me about what is truly important and the choices that we get to make in life and in business. So I want more women to be inspired too. Come and let me know on Instagram what has inspired you from this episode. Thank you, GENA, for your time and all the wisdom you shared here. I adore you and so deeply appreciate you and having you in my life. Enjoy this amazing episode, my loves. Hi, GENA. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I am so grateful for your energy in this space and to have this conversation today around trusting your pivots and trusting yourself.
Hey Sarah, it's so cool to be on. Thank you for having me.
Yay. So let's jump straight in. I would love if you could run us through a little bit about what led you to entrepreneur life, doing things in this way and doing it your way, and like what called you to sharing your message so openly and so deeply, because you do it in such a beautiful way.
Well, this is such a huge question. I'll try and share almost like the cliff notes because it's a long story. But yeah, so I kind of got thrusted into entrepreneurial life. I, like many others, back in 2020, lost my job and didn't want to go back to a 9 to 5 when things reopened. I used to be a teacher for 10 years across language school and did a lot of emergency teaching work. And I loved it, but I was so burnt out. I was working nonstop. I wasn't spending a lot of time with my family. So I knew that I wanted something different. And I feel like the universe kind of went, all right, we're going to take that completely away now, because that was my last thread, my language teaching job. And I was kind of left with, what do I do now? So I started trying so many different things to see like what I liked. I tried my hand at modeling after I got inspired after my husband had gifted me like a photo shoot. Yes, for my 31st birthday. And yeah, it just went on from there. Um, I really did not know what to do. I got approached by so many network marketers online, so I tried my hand at that. I ended up doing essential oils for a while, which led me to starting to sew oil pouches to put roller bottles in. Then my son got bigger, my sewing room had to go away, so then I had to repivot, and I started doing some service-based things. I was like, what are other people doing? What do I like? So I taught myself how to read tarot, and then got into human design. And it just kind of naturally evolved into mentoring others. I worked with a lot of mums. Yes, it's been a really huge journey. So it wasn't like a conscious decision for entrepreneurial life. It just kind of evolved out of I really don't want to go back to my old life. Now I've got this big world of possibilities. What can I do? And I've forgotten your second part to the question after all of that.
Around like sharing your message, choosing to
Ah,
share your message so openly and so deeply.
yes, thank you. My brain can only hold so much in one go.
Yeah.
I need to like take notes. Around sharing the message, I've always been quite an open person, probably to a fault. It's actually been a journey to share less of me and create that boundary. Um, but it has also led to some beautiful online connections. Um, I feel like also sharing a lot of myself, it was also a search of, are there more people like me? Are other people feeling like this? Are other people thinking this as well? I can't possibly be the only one. So it was kind of like my soul was searching for a connection as well. And I feel like look, it's had its positives, it's also had its negatives. I've been, you know, probably hit up against a few walls and probably interacted with people who took advantage of that openness. However, it was a really good learning experience for me, especially like in the online world, to be a little bit more guarded and also share my message without indulging in maybe like my trauma or like where it all came from. And that's a skill in itself. And, it's something you learn with time.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing. And I love that you spoke to burnout and that question of like, I don't want to do this anymore. So, what are the other options? Because I know that a lot of people, women who are listening to this, will resonate with that. And also speaking to that, finding the balance between being authentic and showing up and like sharing openly and honestly, but having those energetic protections and boundaries so that, like you said, you're not sharing everything to a detriment to yourself. So, yeah, I have watched you over the last many months now, and it's such an inspiration to those of us who are in that space because there's, lots of women doing this kind of thing, this heart led business. And it is important for us to find this new way of doing life and business, but protecting ourselves in the same time.
Exactly that.
Yeah. And so you've had multiple pivots or different streams of business and ideas and all of that. If you feel comfortable sharing, I'd love to hear what it feels like for you when you're called in a different direction.
Well, for me, it's a restless feeling.
Mm.
So I get quite restless. I've recently identified as neurodivergent and have revealed some answers for myself as to why I get restless. Novelty wears off. Um, and also, I feel quite like there's a feeling of I need to invent, I need to innovate, I need to do something different. Like this is old news now. And people won't have caught up with me. So it's kind of like I'm running ahead. Like I want to do more different things. Like it's that feeling, but then pulling myself back and then going, okay, I actually needed to stay in this a bit longer. I needed to teach this more. I needed more people to catch up with me. And so I did that for 4 years. I was running ahead of myself. Like looking back, I can see that that's what I was doing. I had this restless feeling. I had this guttural pull. So looking back, the common thread was I had this pull to do something else, and it all ended up creating this sort of, they were all puzzle pieces. And now I'm starting to see why I was pulled in so many directions and why I wasn't able to stick with it long enough, to teach long enough, to have, say, more clients or more visibility in that area. I was only supposed to taste test it. So now looking back, I'm like, I'm literally almost starting over again, a new cycle in the exact same things. So I started out online with sewing predominantly. I'm back to sewing. I'm getting like head tingles right now. It's like full download moments. And then I also started out with mentorship and wanting to like share my voice. And I remember I used to do a lot of human design, and I had this like live series that I was testing out. I didn't realize at the time it was almost like a podcast show through Instagram Lives called Generator Frequency, and it was all generator and manifesting generator women who are coming on, who are entrepreneurs and sharing their journeys. So it was always there, but I didn't know where it was leading to. And so all the pivots, all that feeling, that restlessness that I need to be doing something different has now kind of started to come together. And I'm doing all of it. I'm doing all of it, but it's making more sense and I'm able to like stay with it. Yeah. It's not an easy feeling to communicate, but that's sort of the feeling and the journey around all the pivots.
I love that. And that just feels like such a full circle moment, the way that you just described that. And like watching you talk through that, like your energy just lifted. Like I can tell that this is such a place of passion for you. The way that you sort of lit up as you were talking through that and you sort of had those realizations, that is amazing. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, my pleasure.
So I guess with that in mind, when you've kind of come to that realization, you're like, okay, it's time to make a change or I'm going to shift directions, and you're making that decision. How do you keep yourself grounded in your pathway, especially when it's not making like logical sense at the time?
Well, my favorite spot is on a hill behind me because I don't know if you've got video in your podcast, but for those who are not seeing anything, I'm actually recording here in my husband's car at the parking lot because at home it's way too loud with 4 children. But I have a favorite spot just behind me on the hill. And I take my shoes off. And when life and business feels big, there's big decisions, there's a lot going on. And I know I need to come and ground and take my shoes off and put my feet in the grass and literally roll. I literally roll in the grass. I'm like a golden retriever in the grass in that moment, just like rolling around. And it's quite a sight for all the dog walkers out there. They're just like a human dog over there. Um, but I know I need to do that when the feeling of urgency comes up. If I start to feel stressed around a big decision, if I feel like the decision needs to be made right now, it's often a call to slow down and really just ground in and come back to center so that I can come from a place of that listening to my intuition. It's not even logic. Like you said, it's most of my decisions make no sense. And sometimes I follow the urgency. And when I've been able to not follow the urgency and actually stop, ground, listen, it's really uncomfortable if like anyone's new to that. It is so uncomfortable to sit with yourself and not think about anything else. Not even like I take the decision out of my head. I have to literally go, we're not here to make the decision. We're here to just clear our heads. And then when I allow myself to do that, the answer often comes and it's the best. And it's usually the right one. So that's kind of how I do that.
I love that. And like you said, it's really uncomfortable for a lot of us because we are in this really fast-paced culture that is based on urgency and like this scarcity mindset where it's like you've got to make a decision now, you've got to take action, you've got to move forward. And it is really uncomfortable to slow down and be with ourselves. And I think that's why a lot of women and a lot of mothers, both of us work with a lot of mums, struggle to connect with their intuition because we are always trying to move at the same pace as society. And so I love that you shared that, like, you're rolling around in the grass or getting like directly on the earth because people talk about it all the time. It's sort of like a buzzword, grounding. But when you can actually experience that and feel your body and your nervous system shift, like that's where you really see that it's quite powerful. And so maybe anyone listening to this might be a little nudge for you that if you're in that urgency and that pushing, moving forward, and you're feeling like you're lacking that clarity, go pop your feet in the ground, in the grass, and ground in with the earth to be able to ground in with yourself.
Yeah, and even like if you can't get out to a place where you're on your own, I prefer on my own because then I don't have distractions. But if you can't get away from your kids, I'll ground with my kids. Like we will roll in the grass together on the patch that we have out the back. And it's beautiful because they are so connected in with our own nervous systems, right? So if I'm stressed and in urgency mode, they're usually crab apples and they want snacks yesterday. But if I'm calmer, centered, grounded, even if it's for 5 minutes out of the day, it makes a world of difference in their nervous system as well. So if like anyone's feeling guilty for wanting to take time to ground and center, you're not only doing yourself a service, you're also doing your children a huge service because they are linked in with your nervous system. And once you start to see that connection, you can't unsee it. It's like it's like the best and the worst thing at the same time because it's a massive mirror. like, it's interesting, but yeah, grounding is so important. Um, and like even if I don't have grass specifically to like go ground in, just sitting cross-legged, bringing my hands almost like in prayer mode in front of my heart. Like I'm Reiki attuned as well, so I'll bring Reiki in, but you don't have to be Reiki attuned to do this. You can just put your hands in front of your heart space and just allow yourself to like bring energy and just the intention of grounding, and it just makes a huge difference. Or even like putting your hands on physically on your feet and like just remembering this is where I step on, nourishing the feet. I massage my feet or do some feet exercises. That also helps me ground. So there's so many ways to do it, not just by connecting with the earth as well. Yeah, there you go. We got a little workshop in grounding too in
I love it. And it's all about that embodiment. Like, what
there.
does embodiment mean? It's getting into our bodies and it's a practice. Like, we have not been taught this, for most of us, have not been taught it growing up because it's not part of our culture. And so it does take practice. And when you get started, it can feel uncomfortable. And you have to continually set that intention and make that choice to do the grounding, to do the coming back into your body because no one else is going to make that choice for us, right? And as you said,
Yeah.
it benefits not just us, but our families, our clients, our friends, like everyone that is in our sphere can benefit from us taking those moments to ourselves. So thank you for
Mm.
that reminder.
Yeah. Oh my God. When you said clients, especially for clients, Like where, especially if like we're doing any energy healing work with them or tuning in, even if you're like doing like a tarot reading or something, you're essentially holding their energy in your energy field. And if your energy field feels scattered, the that exchange is not going to feel as good as it can when you're centered and grounded yourself. So it's, yeah, it's a huge, huge thing to be able to, as a coach or a mentor, healer, whatever space you're in, to like literally ground yourself and be able to put aside the emotional side to yourself. And grounding is a really great way to do it. So like you could have like left the house. I'm thinking about my past now mentoring session where there might have been like a fight or argument, or the kids weren't letting you leave and all this stuff. And then I would always give myself at least half an hour before a session to ground, to come into center, so that my energy field is a calming place for their energy to walk into for that session. So yeah, treat it with kindness and groundedness, because it benefits all around.
Yes, I love that. And I
Mm.
think that it's really something that is accessible to us all. Like we don't need all the things to be able to do it. Like you said, I'm Reiki attuned as well, so we have that tool, but you don't need to have that. Like it can literally be feet on the ground if that's not accessible, hands on your heart. Like there's so many little ways that we can build that muscle. And I feel like it's one of those things that the more that you do it, then you're just building layer upon layer, and it kind of becomes a little bit easier. But I think a lot of women who I speak with, one of the things that they struggle with is they sort of have this sense of like chaos and life is hectic, and presence is what they find challenging. And it's like, how do I become more present? And I feel like grounding is really one of those foundational layers, because like we were saying before, if you can't be present with yourself, we can't really be present with those around us.
Exactly. Or even just like breathing. Slow
Mm.
down your breathing for a little bit. Go hide in the toilet for like 2 minutes and slow down your breathing. I also find that, I get like affected, especially like if you've had trauma in your life, your nervous system gets affected by kids squealing. I don't know if this is true for you,
Yeah.
but I notice that when they're playing loudly, my nervous system is on edge. So even those like micro moments can really affect. And so grounding, coming back to your breath, putting your hand on your heart, like you said, putting your hand on above your belly button on your solar plexus, just showing your body it's safe in that moment. I feel like a lot of us like millennials have a lot of nervous system trauma from various things, and we're not only parenting our children, we're reparenting ourselves, we're also building businesses, we're also like a spouse to someone or a partner or whatever. There's just so much going on. So if we're not tending to ourselves and making time for it, because life, like you said, it's not going to stop being chaotic. You can't wait for life to calm down before you tend to yourself. You actually have to tend to yourself and then life comes down. It's like, yeah, yeah, we've got it backwards. It doesn't stop. We have to stop for it to stop.
Yes, 100% agree with you. And
Mm,
I think the more that we have conversations like this and share this message, the more that things will be able to start shifting. But yeah, you're right. Society has it backwards, and we don't need all the things. We don't need everything else to calm down before we look after ourselves. It's we've got to make that choice for ourselves first.
exactly.
So I came into your world not long before your shift into embodied mantras. And what I've loved about this venture and watching your launch process and everything is how you've really brought your audience along. You've brought your buyers into the journey, into the experience every step of the way. I am one of those. I bought a shirt and I was part of that process, and I just loved experiencing it. So, could you speak a little to building community into your brand?
Oh, wow, that's huge, because I strive for community so much. And part of me like wants a really big community, but I'm also like an introverted extrovert. So my community building has been very slow, very intimate, very gradual. I like to get to know everybody who's in my world. So I have like a close friends stories section. There's like 21 people in there, but I know every single one of them. We speak regularly. So even if I'm not posting in there often, we're in our DMs, we're like chatting about our worlds, we're chatting about what's going on. And I feel like, especially in this day and age with AI coming in, we're needing more human connection. And I feel like, looking back, I've actually done that really well on a very intimate, small community level. So yeah, I guess my process, I suppose, is I connect with someone, I see we click, we've got things in common. I'll usually connect with people who are deep, they're not surface level thinkers. We're not talking about the weather. And if we are talking about the weather, it's more about like, how it affects us and how it's changed. There's something deeper about it. It's not just, oh, it's hot, it's cold, it's windy. So yeah, uh, it's gradual. You came in. When did you come in? Maybe middle of last year. It
Yeah.
was, and when we connected, it wasn't just, oh, hi, I'm Jenna. Hi, I'm Sarah. We like got in, and the lifestyles and the cyclical living and all of the things. So I guess that's how I build my communities. And then when people know you and kind of have those great conversations behind the scenes, then they're more likely like to come into your stories and engage in things like your polls and your questions. And even if it's only one or two of them that actually click, then you can continue on the conversation. And most of them who know you will watch your stories, because I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there like, they're not looking at my stories, they're not engaging, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. They're watching, trust me. They probably just have like 50 million other things going on in their worlds. They probably are washing the dishes and they've just got the stories playing on in the background on auto mode. Or like they were about to click on your poll, but then a kid yelled out. And, so think of it that way. Like, look at your life and how you interact with social media. You are building community. It's just slow. And especially if you're dealing with other mothers, it's going to be scattered, chaotic, and a bit disjointed, because that's just life. I mean, I saw a reel. I might be digressing a little bit here, but it's relevant. I saw a reel. This woman was reading out facts, and she goes, the average mum gets interrupted every 3 minutes. Her brain has to switch task every 3 minutes. Now, if you're also neurodivergent and switching from one task to another is really hard for you, imagine the overwhelm you're experiencing. Like, it's insane. Like, that just blew my mind. So bring that factor in as well as you're building community and who your community is. And then you'll feel a lot better about who's in your world, and treat those who are in your community like they're lifers, because they are, and they will breathe your business into life. They will be the reason you go online. They will be the reason you continue going, because they wrote that comment, because they sent you that funny reel one time. You develop those relationships with them, and it's so, so, so beautiful. So it's not about the numbers, it's about the depth and the connection for me.
100% agree. And I love everything you just said. And like, I've had this conversation a few times recently, actually, about social media. Like, it's called social media. And yet, so much of the noise around these platforms is about the views and going viral and like how many likes or shares or comments are you going to get. But people don't talk so much about what engagement actually means. It's not likes and shares. It might be a comment, but it's about having that conversation. And like you said, giving grace to all of us because we are human beings having a human experience. We are mums, we are women, we are busy. And so taking that pressure off and making it not about the views, but about the message that we're sharing from our heart and from our soul, because that's what we do. And just trusting that those who are meant to see it, they will. Whether you get any feedback in, in that time period that your story is up or not, they are seeing it if they are meant to see it. And it might circle back around in a month, 2 months, 6 months, and they'll go, I remember that thing you said all that time ago, and it clicked something for me. The
Mm.
conversation will happen when it's meant to, and the community will build organically if you are not putting that pressure on it, I think.
Yeah, the vanity metrics are for sure a carrot dangler, and I have fallen into that as well in the past. And it's like that instant gratification. It's like a quick fix. And I mean, you know my history. Like, I've got a history of quick fixes. I used to be in heavy addiction many, many years ago. So that kind of little demon, let's call it a little demon, I call it my little inner addict, likes to rear its head. And so if something feels quick or feels easy, the default setting is to go towards that. And you don't have to be an addict to feel that way either. I feel like a lot of people um want the quick fix, but the problem is that that's not going to bear fruit in the long term. And when you said that thing about like, oh, they might, like, it might come back around in 6 months, if you think about everything you're putting out on social media as a seed, that seed has to have a gestation period. There is a law, a universal law of, I can't remember what it's called, but of like everything has a gestation period. So you plant the seed, it's not going to bear fruit in the same day. And those who are commenting and viewing, they didn't just come that day. It's very rare that you'll get someone who comes along and starts like doing all the things, and 9 times out of 10 they just want something from you. They want you to buy something from them. They're love bombing you like a it's going to sound a bit harsh, but like someone who enters into a relationship and the guy's love bombing you, and then all of a sudden he starts taking from you and taking from you and taking from you. There are those people out there, they will love bomb you, and they're usually the ones who will like 20 of your posts within a nanosecond. They haven't read anything. They'll engage on all your stories, and then as soon as you say, no thanks, I'm not interested, they drop you like a fly. And you know what? Blessing, because you don't need those people in your life. So the views, the likes, even the comments, sometimes like people just dropping emojis left, right, and center, and not really like leaving a decent comment. That's just, let's call it love bombing. That's just them love bombing you. It's not real. It's not deep. It's not connected, unless you know the people and they're like, oh, I'm actually supporting the work. Yeah. It's an interesting, social media is a beast. It's a beast. And when you're in the entrepreneurial journey, a lot of your shadows are going to come out, and you're going to really meet yourself in ways you never met yourself before.
Yeah, definitely. And I really resonate with that. Like I have, cycle through with that too. Like we get caught up in the noise and the metrics and what should I do better? What should I do more? And then it's that coming back to, okay, why am I actually here? Why am I doing this? Who am I doing it for? It's not the people who are, I don't want to be that person who's just trying to sell, sell, sell and love bombing everyone. Like that's not me. So why would I want that for my community? And it comes back to that grounding too, doesn't it? If we're not grounded, we can't be connected to what's important to us. But yeah, I really resonated with everything you shared before. And again, just that reminder that if we are connected to what's important to us, we can get caught up sometimes and we can spiral and it can go a bit crazy. But, generally we come back to it and we will connect with the right people and it will come back around. Like you said before, everything is a cycle, everything has its own timing, and we just have to trust that.
Absolutely.
Do you have anything else on your heart that you'd like to share before we start wrapping up?
Oh, I feel like we've touched on so many topics, but I guess something I would like to share in terms of like the entrepreneurial journey and the pivots, which has been our topic, and following your intuition, is listen to your gut. If you're an entrepreneur, you're in the beginning stages, listen to your gut, because there will be so much noise online, so many coaches telling you what worked for them. Just remember that it worked for them and you are different to them. And maybe some strategies will work, but unless you take them and make them your own, they're not going to work. Trust me, I have tested it for 4 years. I speak from experience. I've tried every single bloody method and strategy and funnel and automated emails and sequences and boosting your posts and DM scripts. I've done it all. I've done pretty much all the tactics out there, all the cringe, all the good, all the bad, everything, but it works for them. And you've got to like deduce what actually works for you. And sometimes you won't know unless you try them. And other times you'll know because everything in your body goes, ew, listen to it. Yeah, that's my kind of word of advice out of all of that.
I love that. What a beautiful takeaway. Thank you. I have one more question to ask that I ask all of my guests. But to finish the episode, having been through all that you have, if you could meet the version of you at the beginning of this journey and speak to her now as her higher self, what would you tell her?
Oh, loaded question, Sarah. I'd probably tell her it's all going to work out just fine. As cliche as that sounds, it does. It's all going to work out fine. Let yourself cry. Let yourself be angry. Let yourself grieve. Let them go. Let each person who didn't work out go. Don't spiral in the why they didn't buy or why they didn't like what you had to say or they didn't agree with you. Not everybody's for you. And stop trying to bend over backwards to please everyone. You're worth more than that. Stand your ground, find out what your actual values are, and practice expressing those and standing in those, because they're ultimately going to like feed into your boundaries, feed into your standards, feed into your belief system. And that is how you're going to start attracting the people who you're meant to work with and the people who are going to help support you spread your brand, spread your message, because they are invested because you are invested in yourself. Yeah.
Oh, that gave me goosebumps. Thank you so much for sharing. That's beautiful. So let's finish up by you sharing with everyone where can we find you, direct us to where you want us to go, and share what offers are out there and how we can tap into that.
Yes. So you can find me in lots of places because I didn't settle on just one. So, as you said before, Sarah, I'm at Embodied Mantras over on Instagram, and my that is my shop. So you can find mantra teas such as "Self Trust Looks Good on You," "Your Strength Is Within," etc., etc. These are like literally the living embodiment of affirmation and mantras that have helped shape my own self-belief and my own self-worth. And so every time you wear a t-shirt, you're receiving that energy, you're embodying that energy. You've got a tangible thing to put on to have that reminder. I also make intentional scrunchies. They also have their own mantra on them. So that's all on the shop. And I'm reintroducing pouches, which also have a mantra on them. They will be coming up soon. And you can DM me personally for custom orders if you know, see something you like and you're like, oh, I want it to be tweaked. For example, I'm currently creating an oil pouch. It's going to be waterproof and has specific pockets and all those things. So I'm up for a challenge. Send me a challenge you'd like me to make, and I'll endeavor to make it for you. The other place you can find me is at the Recovery Room podcast. This is my GENA Georgia service brand that's been in existence since 2022, on and off. This is also where I host my podcast, The Recovery Room, where we talk about, you know, surviving a world that wasn't built for you and coming home to yourself. And I imagine there'll be some services related to that coming soon. They just haven't been revealed to me quite yet. But I do have a beautiful freebie that you can tap into called Protect Your Peace without feeling like a guilty BITCH. And that one's all about setting boundaries with difficult people. So, yeah, you can holler at me in the DMs and I can point you in the right direction.
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. I will put all of the links in the show notes. So please make sure you scroll down into the show notes and connect with Gena. All of her stuff is amazing. I have one of her teas. I'm excited to order a children's tea as well.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. We got the children's t-shirt. When I grow up, I want to be me. They are ace. And actually, fun fact, sorry, I'm like interrupting you. My eldest daughter helped me design that. So it's a
Oh,
collaboration with one of my kids. Yeah.
oh, I love that so, so
Yeah.
much. So yes, please go and connect with Gena. Thank you so much for your time today. I absolutely loved this conversation. I'm so grateful for your wisdom, your energy, your shared experience. Thank you.
Oh, it was incredible. Thank you so much for having me on, Sarah.
Thanks, Gena.
Okay, bye.
I want to invite you into a moment for integration, because consumption of knowledge is great, but where it turns into wisdom is when we reflect and bring it into our own lives. So my invitation here is to reflect for a minute on what's been shared today, and then choose one tiny step you can take to bring those lessons into your life. Take a deep breath and devote yourself to that step today. With my deepest gratitude, I am so honoured that you have chosen to listen to this episode today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Be sure to check the show notes for any relevant links, references, and resources. A final note that this podcast is a space for sharing personal stories, experiences, and inspiration. It's not medical or professional health advice. By listening, you accept full responsibility for how you choose to take or apply any of the information shared. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You are a sovereign being. Always follow your heart and choose what feels best and true for you.